So, are you prepared for Christmas?
Yeah, I honestly don't feel that much like it's Christmas. Maybe because I'm working and everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm prepared. I'm happy about it. Are you?
Yeah, me too. I mean, I feel the same like you. Like, I don't feel like it's Christmas. I think it's because work, the classes, and everything.
Yeah, probably. But I guess tomorrow we're gonna have more of a Christmas spirit.
Yes, because we're not gonna have class.
Exactly. Okay. So, all right, today I was thinking we could do some grammar and writing. What do you think?
Okay, it's okay.
Mm. So the grammar we're going to be looking is what belongs to this advanced grammar that I was telling you about. So I
Mm-hmm.
think these are very useful things to know and to use when you write. So that's why it has to do with writing.
Okay.
So the first one we're going to be looking at, the first grammar point, is this thing about inversions, which is a big thing here. And yeah, I didn't even know that there were so many uses and so many cases in which you can do this. So it's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Inversion of what about what you're saying or what you meant?
Sentence, sentence order.
Oh, oh, okay.
So when you're not really writing a sentence in the usual way that you would. So for example, if it's an affirmative sentence, you would usually need subject, verb, and complement, right? But if you invert the order and form maybe and use the order of a question instead of the order of a sentence, then you're inverting it.
Okay.
So let's see. So as I was saying, it refers to an irregular verb placement and it covers two different grammatical operations. So you can either use a question form in a sentence. So for example, here I can say, not only did he get late to work, but also came completely unprepared for the meeting. So this is a sentence, right? It has capital letters, a period, it's a sentence. You're showing it's an it's an affirmative sentences, sort of. It's a negative, in an implied negative sentence, but
Uh-huh.
it's a sentence. But here you're using the form of a question, right? Did he get late to work? That's the order of a question, not the order of a sentence.
Yes.
You don't use auxiliaries when you have a sentence, and you would need to use got, right?
God.
He got late to work, and also he came completely unprepared.
Okay.
So that's one of the operations we can do an
So
inversion.
the correct way to say is not only he got late to work.
I mean, this is correct, right? It's
Okay.
correct. The normal way, the usual way would be
Uh-huh.
he not only got late to work,
Uh-huh. But also came completely
yes.
unprepared for the meeting.
So that would be the usual way, but both,
Okay.
or sometimes, which is not that common, honestly. This was common, well, not common, but this was used hundreds of years ago, maybe in English, which
Uh-huh.
is changing the normal positions of the verb and subject mainly for emphasis. So this is seen in literary works, so maybe poetry, literature. Along came Polly, right? So Polly came
Uh-huh.
along came Polly. Well, up in the air went the balloon. So the balloon went up in the air went the balloon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another. Another thing that you can do for emphasis to sound more polite, more formal, but it's not that common anymore. The first one, yes, it is quite common in both speaking and writing. This one here is not that much anymore. But we're going to be seeing both, starting today with this one.
Mm. And this is changing the position, right?
So let's.
Uh-huh.
So when can we do this? Starting with the first one, using a question form. So we normally do it when we have any form of negative sentences. So for example, this one here, not only is a negative, right?
Mm.
Not only, it has the word not. So when we have negative adverbials. So adverbs are all those modifiers, right? So for example, frequency adverbs, never, rarely, scarcely, hardly ever, those are adverbs. And when you have negatives, so here are some. So we have never, which means nunca, rarely,
Right.
hardly ever, before, which is not an adverb of frequency, but it's also an adverb. Little, seldom. Do you know this one, seldom?
A veces.
Yeah, it means not, it's like rarely,
Yes.
right? We have hardly, which is kind of the same as barely, scarcely, which is the opposite of a lot, little quantity, and no sooner, which is similar to before.
What is scarcely?
Scarcely is like um, little in quantity,
Sorry?
little in quantity. So in Spanish,
Oh,
it would be like, it comes from scarce, escasez, escasamente.
yeah.
Yeah, escasamente would be. So for example, seldom have I felt so alone. Now the rule here is when you're using one of these negative adverbials and you're using it at the beginning of the sentence, so a negative adverbial, then you can invert it. You don't have to, but you can. So you can, I'm gonna make this shorter, okay? So negative adverb, plus, and then you need the question order. So you're gonna need an auxiliary, and then the subject, and then the verb. And the verb needs to be, well, it depends, right? If it's an auxiliary did, for example, it needs to be in the basic form. But if it's an auxiliary like have, it needs to be in the past participle form. So it depends. But that's the rule. So a negative adverbial, when it's at the beginning of the sentence, you can do it. If it's at the middle, you cannot do it, right? So I never felt so alone. It's at the middle, you can never invert it. You can say, have never I felt so alone. No, it needs to be at the beginning of the sentence.
But here the structure is adverb, the seldom,
Yes.
the auxiliary really have.
Yeah. I have felt so alone. Have is the auxiliary, felt is the
I
verb.
felt, yeah. Subject, I felt, felt on the subject. Okay.
So alone is just a comp.
Uh-huh.
Or scarcely had I got out of bed when the doorbell rang. So as you can see, you have the adverb, scarcely, the negative adverb because it implies
But
negative.
scarcely not little in quantity. I was
Yes.
using it.
So in this case, it's like a few times.
Okay.
Rarely ever had I got out of bed. So it can also refer to time. few times or a few things. Like you could say, you can scarcely find gold in Bolivia. So you rarely ever find gold. So it's very, very common.
Okay.
Or, little did he know that we had called the police. Little did he know.
Mm-hmm.
That's very common, right? So little did I know that I would end up here.
Little did I know.
It's very common when you talk about unpredictable things. Like you ended up doing something different. Maybe you were planning on living in Brazil and you ended up in Panama. So you say, little did I know that I was gonna end up in Panama.
In Spanish will be little.
It's kind of like ¿qué iba a saber? O quién diría? Yeah, it's like, well, you could say who would say, right?
Uh, little did who knows? No.
Little did know. So it's like ¿quién diría? ¿Qué iba a saber? So who would say I would end up?
Mm-hmm.
It could mean different things, but it usually expects things that you didn't expect to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So who would say, or who would have thought, right? Who would have thought I would ended up in Panama.
Uh-huh.
So yeah. Okay. So yes, and let's see, there are more. Rarely have I seen Lucy so excited. Rarely have I seen her so excited. I have rarely seen Lucy so excited. And it adds
So
more.
the
Sorry,
auxiliar is always have.
not necessarily. Like in the third one is did.
Ah, yes. Yes.
It can be in the simple present as well. Little
Mm-hmm.
does she know that we're gonna call the police. In this case, it's had.
Oh, yeah, because every sentence here is have and the past participle,
No, it could be any.
except the third. But okay. Rarely have I seen Lucy so excited.
The thing is, you usually use it for the past, but you can also use it for the present, right? Like little does she know, and that's why they have the present or past perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Because also, if you think about it, most of the time when you use adverbs in the past, you use the present perfect, right? You most of the time you say, "Oh, I have never seen somebody like you." You don't say, "I never saw somebody like you." You know, when you use
Yes.
adverbs, most of the time you use the the
The
perfect tense.
the yes.
So that's why.
Okay.
So yes, those are some ideas. So a negative adverb, auxiliary, and subject.
Mm-hmm.
And this also works with the verb be, you know, as an auxiliary. So you could say, never was I so surprised to see someone. So the verb be is still an auxiliary, but in this case it's different because you don't have a verb, right? After, I think there's another category for this, but it also works. So never
Never
was,
was I so surprised.
instead of verb, you have an adjective. Never was I so surprised, so excited.
Never was
So
so surprised. Uh-huh.
there's another category for that. You can
But
also,
these inversions, when do I have to use it?
usually when you want to emphasize something,
Okay.
yeah, they're commonly used. Now, honestly, the reason why I'm showing you this is because I think that they can help you in your writing. Like for
Okay.
example, when you're writing in a test, if you write at least one of these inversions, then
Uh-huh.
that's grammar. So it's you're showing this grammar propriety, you're showing that you have achieved this advanced grammar, right?
Yes.
But it helps, just when you're speaking as well, because many natives do it. So yeah.
Yeah, it looks like very complicated. It's not complicated, but
Yeah, it
nice.
looks advanced. That's why it's advanced grammar for C1.
Uh-huh.
So you can use it. So then you also use it when you have only. So like not only, but in this case, not only when it's negative, but for example, only by, only after, only then, only when, only if.
Hmm.
So for instance, you could say, I don't know, only, I don't know, let's look at the example. So only after understanding the situation does the teacher make a comment. Or only when you know who you are can you love somebody else, right? So only after understanding the situation does the teacher make a comment.
Yes. Only by.
Only by looking at her did he realize how hard she was. So in this case, the structure would be only past preposition plus object and then the inversion. And the inversion is the same, right? The inversion is, I'm gonna make it shorter. The inversion is auxiliary plus subject plus verb.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Only when you finish your homework are you allowed to go out, right? Are you allowed to go out? I'm not saying only when you finish your homework you are allowed to go out. Only when
You're.
you finish your homework are you allowed to go out.
Are you allowed? Okay.
Only when we lose something do we realize its importance.
Only when I lose something do we realize it's important. I never hear the inversion.
Mhm.
I mean the first one I heard only
Okay.
the
Does it?
last slide, but this like, do we realize? Did he realize how hurt she was? No.
So yeah, I think I've heard some of them. Like with the verb be, they're
Yeah, maybe, but I didn't notice.
okay.
Probably.
Another way to say this would be it's that, right? And that may be another advanced grammar. It's something that you don't necessarily see in grammar, but it's very useful. It is that. So for example, it is only when you, after understanding
It's
the
only after
situation,
the see.
situation that the teacher makes a comment, right? It's only after understanding the situation that the teacher makes a comment. Or
Mm.
it's only by looking at her that he realized how hurt she was. Or it's only when you lose something that we realize its importance. Maybe you've heard that.
Yes.
So yeah, that's common as well. It is that. Maybe we can have a lesson for that because it's quite common. Like maybe, or in not only is gonna be that, it could be any type of relative pronoun. So it's me who I want to, I don't know, it's me who I want to be with. So it is this that I. want to do that. So that will be another way. It's only by looking at her that he realized how hard she was. It was only, could also be in the past. It was only if you understand the situation that the teacher made a comment.
Only once. And how did you say that this example? Only when she was?
Which one?
Uh, sure. The last one that you explained?
I mean, with it's that,
Yes, yes.
this one here,
Uh-huh.
it's only when you lose or when we lose something that we realize it's important.
Mm-hmm.
We keep the tense if you realize, right? Because in this one is in the past, I can say it was only by looking at her that he realized how hard she was. I'm keeping the past tense.
Yes.
The present, it's only when we lose something in a simple past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or in the
Okay.
future, it is only when you are done with your homework that you will be allowed to go out.
Uh-huh. Oh. After all, only by, only after, only then, only when. Okay.
And with any negative sentences. So, for example, containing no or not. Under no circumstances are you allowed to go out. Maybe you've heard that.
Like the not only or
Not, not,
what?
not one, this one here. Like, under no circumstances are you allowed to go out.
Under no circumstances. Mhm.
Maybe you can look for some comments. Under no circumstances.
To be able to do that. Under no circumstances are you to email the questions to them. If they say, will you email me the questions? Don't. Insist on time to speak to email circumstances.
Right?
Person so that I can answer these questions. Some of these are for the hiring officials, some of these are for HR, but it would really be nice to be able to do that. Under no circumstances are you to email the questions to them.
So are you to email instead of you are to email.
Yeah, under no circumstances are you to email.
And it's interesting because here we have another advanced grammar point, which is are, the verb be as in this use, right? You say, if I am to email you the questions, what would you do?
If I
Right?
am.
Yeah, you can do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing, but it's interesting. Like, for example, you can use, and that's another thing that you can use, by the way, in your text.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me show you. So, for example, if you want to say have, like, or should, it's kind of like have or should. So, for instance, if I want to say, I don't know, if you, I don't know, maybe just, yeah, if you want to go, you have to finish your homework, maybe. So you are to finish your homework. Right? So you are to finish your homework instead of have to, or you should finish your homework.
Uh-huh.
So verb be plus to plus verb, that's another thing.
Verb to.
And
Okay.
it could sometimes mean the future as well. It could be the future. Like if I am to be in a relationship again, will not tolerate something like this. So this means future. So if I am ever going to be in a relationship again, I will not tolerate something. If I am to. So we could see this other day.
Finish your homework. Sorry, I'm taking notes about this because
Yeah, sure.
it's new, totally new for me.
Right.
Okay, sorry.
So going back to what we were doing, so under no circumstances can you leave this house. You can leave this house.
Uh-huh.
Not only will she have to study hard, but she will also, but this is the only one, right? Not only will she have to study hard, she will also have to concentrate. Under no condition should you drive this car. So you shouldn't drive this car under no matter what, right? Under no condition. See? Here.
So when do I realize if I have to make an inversion in the sentence?
You never have to.
Uh-huh.
You
I mean,
can
if I want
to
because I
emphasize.
can do it in any sentence, I mean. Or I
Yes.
can.
In any sentence like this, right? So in any sentence in which you're expressing something negative, yeah, you could.
Uh-huh.
Like, but it's to emphasize. It's like, for example, that guy there that was saying, under no circumstances
You
are you
can.
to tell them the questions.
Yeah.
So he really wants to put an emphasis on like, you should never really do this, no matter what.
Okay.
Now, it's hard to put them into practice and actually use them in your speech, but it's not important that you use them, you know? Right now, it's not. Once you get used to them, you also, the thing is, when you see a grammar lesson, first thing you see it, you need to understand a little bit of the structure, how it works, and you're gonna memorize some phrases, some things. And then when you listen to something like this in somebody that's speaking, you're gonna realize, oh, that was that grammar that person is using. So you're gonna be more aware of how this person is using the grammar. And after a couple of times that you listen to somebody use it, you're gonna start to catch it and you're gonna use it yourself. I think that's how it works. So after I've heard a lot of people use something, then it's catchy, and then I start using it myself in my own sentence. But in order to understand that somebody else is using it, you first need to understand how it's used and what it is.
Okay.
So I think that's how it is. So no way am I sitting next to him, right? But no way I'm sitting next to him. Both are okay.
No way I'm sitting next to him. De ninguna manera.
Yes. Or there's no way that I'm sitting next to him. There is no way that I'm doing this.
Because I think that alone it doesn't make sense.
I mean, yeah, I've heard it. No way I'm sitting next to him. It's like the shorter version, but the longer one, there's no way that I'm doing this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see where else. Okay. And after so and such. So this is to emphasize quantities. Quantities and yeah, bigger amounts. This is very common as well. Um, so it's usually with adjectives or nouns. So for example, to describe something most of the time. So when so and such are at the beginning of the sentence again, like all of the other ones, and we want to describe something, I would say. So for example, the test was so difficult that the students needed 3 months to prepare. You could say, so difficult was the test that the students needed 3 months to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
Or so excited was the crowd that they began to.
Okay.
It's usually with that, right? So that, so that, such was the force of the storm, that. It's like tan que, right? Estaba tan difícil que los estudiantes. It was so hard that students needed 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another use. With adjectives or nouns that describe something. So the force of describing. Such
So
was his strength.
for the storm, the trees were uprooted. Uprooted. Mhm. Oh,
So when you're describing something. And this is called, by the way, it's a literary device. It's a hyperbole. So it's an
yeah.
exaggeration. You're exaggerating something. Hyperbole.
Mhm. That's okay.
Right? After us, uh, this is like so and neither. Do you remember so and neither?
Yeah, neither do I. So,
So those are inversions, and you can also do the same with us. Like for example, we were really tired, and so was most people who came to the trip, or as were most people who came to the trip,
okay.
right?
So, okay. Instead of us, we use so. That's
You
what
can
you
use both.
mean?
You can use both so and as.
Ah,
Not here, right? Not with short responses. But when
mhm.
you want to compare, so we were really tired, sorry, and so were most people who came to the trip. Or like were most people who came to the trip. You can also use
Yes.
like were most people. And this makes sense if you translate it as well, right? I think, como la mayoría, like were most. Maybe not.
I don't like onions. They're carrots, right? Uh-huh. We always end in meetings.
Okay.
Version. So neither. Yes. But here in the inversion after so, neither or not. I don't like onions, neither do I. Carol can use this computer program, so does Ken. How?
I mean, remember that so, and the good thing about so and neither is that you can use it with any pronoun, with any person, right? Which is something that you cannot do with me too and me neither. And that's why we use it.
Yes.
So you can do it with somebody else. You just need to conjugate the auxiliary.
Okay.
So you could say, I don't care, and neither does he. So,
I
or
and neither as
I
he.
don't want to go, and neither do they.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. And it's kind of similar to nor as well. You know, you use an inversion with nor. So I don't want to go, nor do I need to go.
I don't want to learn. Okay. Okay. Okay.
And finally, the last thing, I think we talked about this, which is when you have conditional sentences. So when you have the third conditional, what is it? When you have the third conditional, if he had understood the problem, he wouldn't have committed those mistakes. You can invert it. You don't need anything else. You just invert it. So instead of you take the leaf out, there's no leaf. If he had understood the problem, I'm taking the leaf out and I'm inverting. Had he understood the problem? And that's with the third condition. So
he had understood the problem. Had he understood the problem, he wouldn't have committed those mistakes. Okay.
so it's more formal, and we drop the E. Now, when you have, and I think we talked about this as well, and you can do this with both. I don't know why I think it was only. So you can also replace the if with should. But this is not an inversion, right? It's everything the same. You're just replacing if with should. So should he decide to come, or he as well? Should he decide to come, please telephone.
Please telephone. Okay.
The second conditional. Second condition. And with the first one, we can invert the order as well. So in this case, we replace if with should. And here we can invert the order and drop the if. So were I in your position, I would apologize.
In your position, I apologize. And the correct way, like the normal way, is
If I were in your position, I would apologize.
Okay.
This is not that common. I haven't heard it that much. I have heard this too. And this one here. Were I not to have been successful, I would have quit. This one is a mixed conditional. That's another grammar point.
Were I not to have been successful, I will have quit. If I wasn't successful, I will.
This is wrong. It shouldn't be if I wasn't. It will be if I hadn't been successful, I would have quit.
If I hasn't. Oh, yeah. No, it is not if I haven't, because hasn't is for third person.
No, if I hadn't. If I hadn't.
Yes. I hear wrong.
If I hadn't been successful, I would have quit.
Yes.
But this is not common either. So honestly, I wouldn't use it that much. I think these two are the most common ones.
Okay.
So let's practice. Let's see.
Oy.
So how would you do the first one?
We had no sooner, like no sooner, no sooner we have left the house that I exploded.
It's okay that you're starting with no sooner, but there wasn't an inversion there, right? No sooner we had left, it's just the
auxiliary have had.
Yeah, so no sooner
Have had. Have or had? I don't.
You keep the same one, so had.
Oh, yes. No sooner had we left the house that I exploded.
Great. Yes.
Okay.
No sooner have we left the house than it exploded. Yeah.
Okay. If Mr. Chan had been kinder to his employees, his business wouldn't have collapsed. So, okay. But with if Mr. Chan
Yeah.
had.
You drop the if and you do an inversion.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. For me, an inversion will be. I don't. I don't know how to do an inversion. His business will not have collapsed.
I mean, first thing, the only thing that you can invert in a conditional is the
Is
if,
ever.
the
Uh-huh.
condition, the condition. And you, what do? You drop the if in a third conditional and you invert. So
Had okay. Had Mr. Chan been kinder to his employees, his business would have not collapsed.
good.
That's it.
Wouldn't.
Oh, okay. So let me. Okay.
So had he been kinder,
Yeah.
his business wouldn't have collapsed.
Mm-hmm. There are no circumstances where audience members might consume alcohol. Mm, nor circumstances where audience members might consume alcohol. Why? Are there not circumstances where audience members might consume alcohol? Alcohol?
I mean, it's okay that you're starting under no circumstances, but then you need the auxiliary, right? You need to do the inversion. What's the auxiliary here?
Verb to be.
You sure?
Are.
Mm-mm.
Oh, no, may.
May.
May,
Under
yes.
no circumstances,
What did you say? Are no,
under no circumstances,
under no circumstances. No,
auxiliary.
but is not the order. Like negative verb under no circumstances.
Yeah.
The auxiliary may.
May. And then the
Mm,
subject. Right?
yes. Under no circumstances may the audience members consume alcohol.
Great. Yes. Under no circumstances are you allowed to go out, remember? Under no circumstances may the audience consume.
Under no.
Under no circumstances.
Yeah. So I have to choose which adverb I have to use.
Yeah, I mean that's the one that sounds better here because there are no
Uh-huh.
circumstances. It's like under no circumstances, right? No matter what.
So, but if I don't use an adverb, I can use
What?
or I have to use it.
I mean, you cannot make an
An
inversion
inversion without an adverb.
without not necessarily an adverb, but without one of these, right? So it could be
Uh-huh.
an
Mm,
adverb, it could be a conditional, it could be as, so, neither, but not just like that without any.
mhm. Yes.
Under no circumstances can you leave this.
Okay. Wow. It's a little complicated. Make me
Yeah.
confused. Yeah.
It's the last part of grammar.
Mm-hmm. Under no circumstances may audience members consume alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay.
And word.
I didn't say I will accept late homework. I didn't. How can I do this? Not only, it's not only, I didn't. I will. Oh, I don't know which adverb.
Would use never. Maybe I never said I would accept late homework.
Um, yes. I never said, did I? Oh my god. So I never said is a mm, okay, if I use never said I will accept like homework because never is like the negative of didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Never. But you need an auxiliary, right? You need to remember it's the form of a question, right? May the audience consume alcohol? Under no circumstance may the audience consume alcohol. So it's the same order of a question. Think of it a question. So you cannot ask a question like never say I, right? Or say I. You don't ask a question like that.
Never, never did I.
Exactly. Never did
Never
I
did
say.
I. What?
Never did I say I would accept late home.
Never did I say will accept like homework. Oh,
Right? Think of
I
a question.
forgot that it's like it's like a question.
Yeah. So think of it, had no sooner had we left. So had we left is like a question. Had we left, right? The
We
same
have
here.
that. It will
Had
be the
Mr. Chan been kinder? Had he been kinder? Under
right
no circumstances
kinder.
may the audience consume. And did I say?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like a question, but it's not a question.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have more practice? Like
Yeah.
now that I know how to.
Okay. So Katie has no idea the amount of work I put into this project.
Okay. Lil has she know?
Mm,
No. Okay, it's like adverb auxiliar has. The auxiliary is has. Later Yes. Has she know? Little
Has,
has she know?
the thing is, has can be an auxiliary, but not in this case. Has is an auxiliary only when you're in the present perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right. She has seen. But is this a present
Not,
perfect?
not here an auxiliary, yes. But here, little have she no?
Mm.
No.
If it doesn't,
There is not an auxiliary here.
it doesn't have
Does?
an auxiliary. Does.
Yes, so I use does. Ah, yes. Little does she know?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Little
Ah,
does she.
little does she know, but it is negative. Little doesn't
No, it's
she
okay.
know? No, it's okay. Little
Yeah,
does
the thing about
because of
this is that little is already a negative adverbial.
little.
It means
Ah,
she has
yeah.
little idea, you know? She almost doesn't know.
Little does she know the amount of work I put into this project.
Exactly. Little does she know the amount.
Okay, I think I'm getting this. I'm not sure.
Let's look, hold on. For
uh,
any,
yeah, I hear this. I don't know where, but
I've heard it in a song. I remember, I think it's like, I think it's a Taylor
Little
Swift.
did I know what all was going to happen for my birthday. Little did I know what all was going to happen. And also because my medics is an Atlanta-based thing, I want to give you.
So little did I know everything that was going to happen.
mm-hmm.
Little does she know.
She know.
But little does she know, he's going to steal hers. Oh my God, who could have predicted this? Who could have known? Listen,
Right? So she's using it.
Who could have known? He
Could have
said
known.
that. Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
¿Quién hubiera pensado? Who could have known?
Uh,
Okay.
could have known. Yes. Because they were disappointed with their team, they stopped being going to games. Such was they disappointed with their team. They stopped going to game. No.
No.
Okay. Such.
In this case, you need a noun, not a verb.
Such was.
Well, there are two ways.
Disappointed. Such. Such was they disappointed. No.
Yeah, kind of. You're close.
Disappointed.
But not disappointed because that's an adjective, right? You need a noun.
Such such was a disappoint with your team.
Okay, but the noun for disappointment, right? So
Such
such
was disappointment with your team. Wow.
So remember, such was his strength that he could or that he was able to break down or to break this down, right? Such was her, his, their disappointment.
Which day?
I'm sorry?
Such was they.
Their disappointment. So it's
Their disappointment.
yeah, their disappointment. Or it could just be such was the disappointment in general. Everybody's disappointed.
There. Ah. You mean there?
I
Or
mean there, yes.
there? Ah, okay.
Memory.
Their. Okay.
So yeah.
Such was the disappointment.
Yes. So maybe if I'm talking about something in general, like people are, I don't know, maybe because of the movie, you know, Spider-Man movie. So maybe, I don't know, it was a disappointing movie, so I can say, so such was the disappointment that they all left they all left without finishing the movie. So that disappointment in general.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could also say,
Wow. Wow. This is hard.
yes. You could also do this. Right? So disappointed were they.
Oh yeah, it sounds better, I think. So disappointed was there that they stopped going to games. Yeah, it's much better. But you use so.
So
Could be touch igual?
yeah,
No?
but the thing is, so
Mm-hmm.
is with adjectives.
Mm-hmm.
So adjective in such with noun, right? With the verb be. So such was his disappointment, or so disappointed was he. But they do say that. I remember they said, hold on.
One sec. One.
They said, they don't say it. Okay, I thought they say that so is more common than the second one. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So is more common than such. Okay. And the last one.
No matter what happens, I will never invite them for dinner again. Under Pocha. Under under never ever.
The expression is the same you already used, right?
Under never.
No. Under no
Oh,
circumstance.
yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure about use under no circumstances because it's not in the sentence. So I can use
Yes, you can.
circumstance. Okay. Under no circumstances ever I invite them for a dinner again.
But when you say I invite them, that's the usual structure. You need a question structure.
Ever I never ever I invited.
That's still sentence, right? I invite. Subject verb.
Ever okay. Under no circumstances will never ever I invite no no. Okay, negative adverb. Never under no circumstances the
Okay,
auxiliary
don't
is
use never,
will.
just ever. Will,
Sorry?
yeah. Don't use never, just ever.
Okay, under no circumstances will ever
Right?
will ever I
You will better will I ever?
will yes, will I ever invite them for a dinner again? Will I ever? So it
Yes.
doesn't sound like a questions. Will I
It's like
ever
will I ever
will
invite them for dinner again? Will you ever invite them for dinner again? It's a question.
yeah, that sounds better. Yeah.
So yeah.
With
So
you.
then it's gonna usually ask
Okay.
questions or something. Yeah.
Will I ever invited for a dinner again? Okay, this advances grammar it's hard.
Yeah.
Will I ever? Do you have some of this sentence so I can practice?
Yes, I was thinking about that. I will
Because
send you I have to practice.
everything I said was wrong, and I'm scared.
But don't worry. As I was saying, this is step by step. So it's not important. You're not gonna use it as, like 24/7. Um, but it's good to know. And what I'm saying is that's the thing about the test for like going for the test. In the writing, you can memorize one. So you can memorize the structure. Okay, little did I know. And when you're telling a personal story, you're gonna say, okay, little did I know that I would be here today. So you memorize that phrase, you add it there, and that's it for the test. Now,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's important that you also learn.
No, but I don't want it for the test. I want
Yeah,
it because I want to know about it.
yeah. That's a good thing, though. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yes, but it's just it's still little by little. You cannot. Nobody learns in one class, 1 hour.
Yes,
So
because
don't
I
worry.
said all the sentence wrong.
But that's fine.
I wanted to use the structure like negative adverb, auxiliary, subject, and verb, but it was very confused. I didn't know how to start or which one use. Mm,
Yeah, but it's okay.
okay.
It takes more time, obviously. So
Mm-hmm. More than 1 hour, I guess.
yeah, obviously, yeah. Nobody learns in one class.
So how did you started with English? Like learning English and practicing,
Um, Honestly, I
studying?
think I at the beginning, I used to like try to. I liked English, since I was younger. And I used to go to the CBA for a time. Like I did maybe 6 months in the CBA.
Uh,
And yeah, and then I just continued from my own.
did you go to American high school or like Albert or
I was in
SB?
ASB, so that's how I
Uh,
learned. I did, but I wasn't there, for a long time. I was there for only 1 year, my senior year. I did my senior year there, and yeah, that helped me a lot. And then yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I suppose that.
yeah. But I think it takes time everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Because I think you got really good English right now. You're an advanced student already. So I think, yeah, it's just to master it.
Yeah, I think it's just practicing more and I don't know, practicing more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think this is our last class, or are we gonna do something else?
Right now, I don't.
Yeah, because no, I don't think so. Yeah.
I don't know. No, no, I don't think so. We didn't get to do the writing.
Yes,
Yeah, we didn't get to do
it
that.
takes me so long. Do the grammar, the
Yeah,
advanced grammar.
I thought it was gonna be like, okay, 40, 30 minutes,
Half
and then
hour.
we do the
Yes,
writing.
me
But it's
too. But
longer than yeah.
mm-hmm.
So, okay, I guess we'll have to leave that for Monday, right? Because,
Yes, Monday.
hey, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have the whole weekend. Well, but it's Christmas as well, so maybe I will send you this practice. We don't.
Yes.
It's not gonna be for grades. I mean, we're not gonna score this,
Mm-hmm.
but
No,
yeah, you can do it for practice.
yeah, and I can send you and you
Yeah,
check
sure.
it
I will check.
time.
Yeah, for sure.
And I really want to know the way I'm thinking and to see what are my mistakes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I see, oh, I don't have to think like that. I have to change that. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll send you the practice, and
Mm-hmm.
you can hand it in whenever you want.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Great.
So the survey.
Yep, the survey.
Okay, before I go, I want to say Merry Christmas
Yes.
to you
Very
and
good.
your family. I can't believe tomorrow is Christmas. What are you
Yeah.
going to eat?
I don't know yet. I
No?
no, I don't know. Usually my mom cooks something, so
Mm-hmm.
I haven't asked her what she's gonna cook this year, but I guess it's gonna be the same as usual. I don't need turkey or anything. I usually just have chicken. I don't like pork either, so what are you gonna eat?
No,
No,
pork.
no, I don't like
Yeah,
it. But I like turkey.
always. No,
Pork,
I don't like turkey.
you don't like turkey?
No, it's
What do
like
you do usually?
pork
But what do
or
you do?
chicken. Ah, what?
Yeah.
Like um the pork, how we prepare.
No, how like what do you do normally on Christmas Day?
Ah, well, tomorrow is our work
Well,
day.
yeah, tomorrow's a
Yes,
work day, right? It's Christmas Eve.
yeah, so probably I will go to work. To
You will go to work tomorrow?
yes, yes, of course. We have to bring the canastones. I don't know
Oh,
how to say it. Yes,
the basket.
and for some ones the aguinaldo
Oh,
too.
okay.
Yes, so yeah, I have to go tomorrow.
But that's a funny part of work, right? The fun part. You're not gonna.
Funny part, like do the aguinaldos and the canastones.
I mean, at least it's not working. You're just gonna.
No, because you have to elaborate the all. I mean, you have to calculate the aguinaldo
I
for.
will. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the funny part. But yeah, I mean, tomorrow is Christmas. I think it will be very light day. So yeah, just in family.
Okay. So
So see you Monday.
yes, see you Monday. Happy holidays. Have a nice Christmas.
You too. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas, Andrea.
Bye bye. Merry Christmas. Blessings.
Bye.